Chat, baby. Travis Thomas here with my main man, George Balekji. You hear us knocking? Let us in. There's that knock.
Coming with the energy
there
to start this week. The police knock. Got you, bro.
How you doing, my man?
Doing great. We know what the Eastern Conference Finals finally are. My heart breaks a little bit that it's not a New York-Boston matchup like I'd want to see. And this also comes on the heels of the Bruins completing a season that was all and entertaining. That was a great playoff series between them and the Panthers, but we'll get all into this. But in their centennial season, that was one hell of a year of hockey for the Bees. Celtics know their opponent to get into the finals, and we got more we're going to talk about. I'll leave it to you now.
How about us thinking that in hockey and basketball, we were headed for a New York-Boston collision course, and we didn't get either.
Too perfect.
Nunca. Zip zero. Stingy with De Niro. We got neither, bro.
And the hoops one I thought would be a better chance in the NBA.
I know.
But I mean, when you're literally like, you're just running on fumes at that point. You have Alec Burks playing 28 minutes a night. It says all you need to know.
Well, we'll break it all down, but we want to hear from you always. 617-790-0928. That's a Boston has entered the chat hotline. Hit us up. Make that hotline bling, please. Also, send us your tweets. We're interactive. It's Boston has entered the chat. That means all of us in here interacting. Top stories, of course, you know we're talking about on this fine program. More fallout from the Bruins season now being over, as George alluded to. We'll hear from the players on what's next, and we'll get you ready for Pacers Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. But let's first, GBZ, start with get this off of my chest, and that's where I want to start. Look, the Celtics Pacers, I know a lot of you think it's going to be a snooze fest. I'm not one of those people. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be high scoring, exhilarating. The Pacers have never met a defense that they enjoy playing. Now, the Celtics have the ability to actually flip the switch and play some defense from time to time. I think that'll be the difference in the series. I also believe the Celtics have a true big three. We'll see if Porzingis comes back when. I do believe it will be in the series. We'll get into that later. The Pacers do not have a big three. They have a big two. Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, you can count on them. They are consistent. They do not have a third piece. So the fact that the Bruins, who's on my mind, the fact that the Celtics can play defense, timely stops, get some stops down the stretch when you need it, and the fact that I do believe we will see the Celtics big three at some point in the series, that is why I will go C's in 6.
Ooh. It's just a Kristaps that early. I don't hate it.
Yeah,
I don't hate that.
End of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right? I just don't want him back.
That was
you know
sort
where
of
I
the
stand
timeline.
with the big KP.
Well, remember, that was the timeline.
Well, literally, the Eastern Conference Finals can end in June.
Well, right.
And there was that report that he'll be back next month.
Right. Good point.
So,
but I do believe we'll see him on the back end of the series. And by the way, it could be a minutes restriction, could be a pitch count thing. But I do think you'll need to see him in this series in order to really have him at his best for the next series if the Celtics should get there. I also believe, too, George, as we start here, we'll go to the Bruins to start. But I just want to say, with Joe Mazzulla, and you and I have been very critical of him, but this will be the series he has to show. He has to show up because he didn't get exposed by Eric Spoelstra against the Heat because they didn't have the horses to do it. Cavs, you didn't have to worry about it. J.B. Bickerstaff, please. But in this series, Rick Carlisle does make adjustments. Rick Carlisle can draw it up. Rick Carlisle does have playoff experience, championship experience. So I look at this as Joe Mazzulla now. You can't get exposed in the series. You, much like the players, must step your game up as well. But we'll talk more Celtics coming up.
Where do you think I'm going to fall under that one?
Oh, I know where you're going. I already know. That's why I started with get this off of my chest so I could say my piece on the Celtics because I know George is going to come in here repo style and demo style, HGTV, and tear everything down. 617-790-0928. Hit us up on the hotline. Leave us your messages. Send us your tweets as well. All right, let's start with the Bruins, though. Now, obviously, season's over. You and I were texting for Game 6, but we haven't really spoke with everyone since Game 6. So let's go there. Just your thoughts on that game, obviously. What went wrong for the Bruins really in the series? We were both pretty pumped up that they even extended it to 6 games. Thought it could have been over in 5. They did extend it. They fought hard. But again, even as Game 6 went on, I'm sure you were thinking the same thing. It was like, you've got to score. I love the defense. I love what Swayman's doing. How many times in this series have we just felt like you got to get me more offensively? They didn't get it done in that game. Panthers kept hanging around, and you just knew. I just had this pit in my gut that you just know if you don't put one in here and put this game away, the Panthers are going to do it, and they did.
It was watching that you see even the Bruins come out, and in the first 5 minutes of that game, you're like, all right, they're playing well. Well, they jump out to a shot advantage, 4-0.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you see that become a 9-0 shot advantage on the other end for the Panthers. It was basically the Bruins come out, played a good 4 to 5 minutes, but really can't generate anything beyond the neutral zone, really can't generate anything in the offensive zone. And they were just playing on their heels. Now, even given, think about that first period. B's good 5 minutes. Panthers, excellent 14 minutes. Then Pavel Zacha on a breakaway finally gets one through. But also what hits me is that big-time goal after you struggled mightily in the first period, got dominated, but you get it from a guy like Pavel Zacha, who's one of your most important players in your top 6, but also his first career playoff goal. All right, you weren't getting scoring from there. Cool, you got it. Now get it elsewhere, and that just never came to fruition. This is a team, the second that game ended, where you go, they have the goaltending. Yeah, blue line could use some depth, but the blue line's there.
Yeah.
I do like the toughness of this team, which I wasn't expecting to say coming into the playoffs.
Sure.
But they can forecheck, they can play physical, they can play playoff hockey. But actually creating quality chances to score, it's not there. And for someone beyond David Pastrnak to make something happen in the offensive zone, that's not there either. And the way the game ended did suck.
Yeah.
Where it was just a Gustav Forsling, but it's what the Panthers did. Gustav Forsling on the rebound, not even looking as he goes to shoot. 5 holes, a Bruins player, and just gets. Swayman never saw that puck coming, never had a chance.
Nope.
And it was like a fluky-ass goal that ended a great series. Swayman played phenomenally well. You had the best goalie in the playoffs. You just didn't help him out. And anytime, any level, you see a goalie playing the way he does, no matter what, no matter how good he's playing, no matter how many games you're winning, the guys on his team will go, we have to help him out. We know we have to help him out. It's definitely was in the Bruins' heads, but they just never helped him out. They were just missing the speed, the creativity, and the dynamic playmaking in their top 6, top 9. It just wasn't there.
Yeah, it's like a pitcher throwing a great game, but if he doesn't get the run support, he's not going to win the game. And we could walk away from the game talking about all the strikeouts he had and how great he looked and how dominant he was. But they lost the game 2-1, right? It's like, so you got to get the run support as well, to your point. I think overall, George,
it was a great series.
It was a great season.
Oh, yeah.
You know, listen, the Bruins, I can only speak for me here. They exceeded my expectations because I put all my eggs in last season's basket. And so, I felt like I needed therapy after losing to the Panthers in the first round last season. With all the records that team broke and in the regular season and all the accolades and everything they did. So I came into this season, and I'll be honest. If you had told me, look, all the retirements, the free agent losses, everything this team lost from that record-breaking regular season team to now, and you had told me, all right, here's what's going to happen. You're going to win a playoff series. You're going to be at the top of the Eastern Conference. You won't be the best team, but you'll be, top 2, 3, 4 teams in the East. You'll win a playoff series, and then you'll bow out. I'll say, wait, you mean this team is going to go further and do better than that team? That I put all the eggs in the – okay, I'll take it. Now, obviously, we're here. It's over. You're losing 6. It hurts like hell. But if I'm reflecting on the season that was, I mean, I think it was a successful season. This team exceeded my expectations in that way. They took a step further. They won a playoff series. And yeah, sure, the Panthers got you. But, hell, they almost blew a 3-1 this time around. You know what I mean? So I did see some progress, and I don't believe this team is far off. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm giving Jeremy Swayman whatever he wants financially. I'm making sure I got that guy wrapped up. You are staying with my organization for a long time, sir. Thank you very much.
A little 7x7, maybe an 8x8.
Whatever. I'll have you crunch the numbers. But I tell you one damn thing, Jeremy Swayman, what do you want? Here's a blank check. Okay, great. Boom. Go ahead. Go make that deposit. Congratulations.
You better do a 10x10 if you give him that.
I also want to keep Jake DeBrusk within reason. You know, I personally feel as though Jake DeBrusk can go out on the open market and demand some money, and someone will probably give it to him. But if I'm him, I'm considering staying on a team that is not far off and a team that can at least get close financially to what I can get on the open market. I don't believe the Bruins would ask him to take a haircut here. I think he can make good money here and win. That's the key. So if I'm Jake DeBrusk, I'm considering that. So I'm bringing him back. I'm bringing Sway back. Outside of that, hey, I'm open for moving and shaking, but here's what I have to have, George. I must get a top-line center. I just have to have it.
Yeah.
And I have to have someone that can take some scoring pressure off of Pasta and off of Marchie. If I can get a top-line center that can do that and keep those players I just said, I'm running it back.
This was a bridge year for the Bruins.
Yeah.
Everything they accomplished last year, but also Patrice Bergeron retiring, David Krejci stepping away. Yeah, Brad Marchand's still here, but him being a captain, this is a whole new regime. The Chara, Krejci, Bergeron, they're done.
Yeah.
Did a great job. Historically, literally historically, one of the best regular seasons we've ever seen. Statistically, the best. And you see them go out 109-point team in the regular season, get to the second round. Guys like a Matty Patra, that flash in the pan early on in the season, got banged up. He was 19, 20 years old. What do you expect? Mason Lerai arriving in the playoff spot. Brazeau, Geeky, Peak, Beecher, Lauko, all those guys having big moments. One hell of a year for the Bruins. Centennial season, a lot of fun. But also you found out a lot about this team at this point too. You said it, Jeremy Swayman, the way he just played in this postseason, that's number one. He made his case. And you know what? Rested. That's it. I don't need to see more. That guy, 13.3 goals saved above average, a .933 save percentage in the playoffs. And in the games where he got lit up, the 5 guys in front of him weren't helping at all. But he showed he can carry a team through the postseason. They are not down to the wire with the Panthers in Game 6 if it's not Jeremy Swayman in the net. He played so good in that elimination game. So well all postseason long. But now it's when it all comes together. Restricted free agent. What are you going to give him? $6.5 to $8 million a year. That puts him top 10 to top 5 as a guy in net. And he's looking out there. He's seeing what Ilya Sorokin's making. He goes, that guy? Making more than me? He's been through the arbitration, stated his case.
He's young, too.
It's a lot moving forward. And even a Jake DeBrusk, a guy that I've been critical of,
he
was their best skater in Game
No
6.
doubt.
The block shots he was taking, just putting his body out there
Yep.
and making things happen on the other end. Again, a top 6 guy. But you're right. They need to add that extra layer.
Yes.
We're going to get into all of this, but to me, the conversation starts with the priorities. With cap space now,
Right.
around 23 million.
You didn't have that coming into this season.
No, they had like 70K.
That's right.
They couldn't make any moves. The Maroon acquisition was a surprise
Yep.
that they could even bring anyone in.
Right.
And again, the guys like the Patras, the Larais ahead of schedule. That helped them a ton too because of the value that they weren't paying much for.
That's right.
And them coming in. So now it's the Jake DeBrusks that are a free agent. Danton Heinens, do you bring them back? Blue line losing a couple guys too. And now what happens with Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman moving forward? To me, it starts with Sway. You go out and next season will be 26 years old.
Wow.
and is a top 5 goalie. Him and Igor Shesterkin are the future of the league, the future faces in the net in the league. I mean, that's a guy that can go out, go 7 by 7, 7 years, $7 million, maybe 8 years, $8 million. He's be worth every penny by what he showed in the playoffs, because he stepped in. It went 1, Sway against the Leafs, 2, Linus, and then Jeremy Swayman from that point on.
Yeah.
Linus came in, obviously, to spell him for 1. But where everyone saw it could be 1, 3, 5, 7, no. Whatever Jim Montgomery and goalie Bob saw in Jeremy Swayman, said, this is our guy moving forward, and he stated the case and stepped up there. And now it is with Linus Ullmark. 1 year left. Will be an unrestricted free agent in 2025 in that offseason. But this is a guy that at age 30 is just as good as he was at age 26. So Bruins have a great problem on their hands. 2 good goaltenders and what to do with the future. But I think it all starts with paying Jeremy Swayman. And then you're right, that Jake DeBrusk conversation makes sense for me too. He earned himself a lot of money with his postseason play. And there are teams like in Edmonton who would like to play him.
Sure.
And I don't think he wants to go to, I wouldn't expect him to want to go to a situation like this. But a Chicago Blackhawks who need some culture put in their dressing room, get someone from the Bruins, great skater, older vet, and now teaching the young guys like a Bedard and the other ones are bringing in. Even a team like in San Jose, what they could be cooking with Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini potentially being 2 of their top line wings and centers, right? But I think for him, it's all about winning and what his price will be, because he earned himself a nice paycheck this postseason.
He definitely did. But, you know, a lot of the teams you named and a lot of the realistic possible suitors for Jake DeBrusk, there are question marks with those franchises, with those teams, with those situations. Sure, you could get the bag for sure. But if I'm Jake DeBrusk, I'm looking at the situation I'm in where, listen, financially, can you get me close to what I can get out on the open market? I believe that answer is yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the answer, I'm not going anywhere, because I just went to battle with these guys, and we are this close. And by the way, in a season that no one expected us to be. One thing I learned from this season as it pertains to the Bruins, look, I think the formula still works of just solid defense, great goaltender play. You brought up Linus Ullmark. We're going to hear from him in a minute. But both of those guys, in Ullmark and Sway, were in fuego all year long. So solid defense, great in goal. Boy, you can win an S-ton of games in this league, and you can win a playoff series. Now, the teams that capture Lord Stanley's Cup have balance. They can do both. Defense, goal, scoring. We get all that. That's where the Bruins need to get to that level. But they're not far off. You got the defense and the goalie part right. Now you got to start bringing in some more firepower to get it done.
And even like Linus and Sway, regular season numbers were almost identical. 2.5 goals allowed.
That's what I'm saying.
A game, 9-15 save percentage in that neighborhood. And that's Linus picking it up second half of the season while Sway fell off after the All-Star break.
That's right.
But you flip that switch. But if you're Linus Ullmark, you're 30 years old, that guy wants to be a number one. He was a number one last postseason. You know that. So there's plenty of suitors across the league for him with great forwards, great scoring, but need a good goaltender. So that's a guy I believe like wants to go out and be number one. And with 1 year left on his deal, there's value to him because the team comes in and you already have control over him. And then obviously work on extension once he's in your building. But it's tough to see how not only did Swayman get the keys, but he drove that car perfectly.
Yes.
For Linus to look and go, I still have a shot at being the one here, because I think the Bruins made a big statement with the younger guy. With the guy either way they would have to pay him, but with the younger one going out and doing what he did, and Swayman elevating and rising to the occasion, he made the case that he's the number one.
Well, Linus Ullmark talked about his future with the Bruins at the end of the season presser for all the players. Take a listen.
My future here, I got 1 more year. I'm very excited about what's to come. It's going to be, I'm going to spur a heck of a summer. I'm very motivated, mixed in with some revenge, obviously, some inspiration as well, but most of all, excitement of what's to come. Like I said, I have 1 more year. I wouldn't want anything else than to come back here, get a little bit of a revenge tour. You know, like I said, I'm very excited, motivated for what's to come.
I completely actually believe him. That,
a revenge tour.
Yeah,
is interesting.
listen, here's the thing. Again, this kind of goes back to what I was saying about Jake DeBrusk. I just believe this team was really tight. The cohesion was there. We saw that. They liked each other. Everyone got along. They fought hard together. I could see this team saying, no, we want to run it back as is, right? Not saying you're not bringing in pieces, but I'm saying you don't lose pieces, right? Sometimes it's addition by subtraction. Not in this case. I could actually see this team coming back and be like, hey, we're running this back. Bring in whatever pieces you can to help us, but we're marching. We're going to keep marching here. And I could see that. And then Allmark, you know, after the last year of his deal is up, then you go test the market, and we know he'd be great. Mm-hmm. But I do believe him. Now, it's a question of what happens, right? Do you sit down with the team? Do you work something out? Maybe you do, as you said. Does he want to be a number one guy somewhere else? Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
But taking him for what he said in that clip, I could also see him being like, nope, I'm here. You want to go with Sway? Cool. I got his back. Or we do the tandem goalie thing again like we did last year. Yeah. Whatever it is. But I could see him coming back and running it back.
Them rotating in the regular season
works.
And it led to Sway having a successful postseason.
Yeah, it did.
But it's tough for me to see a team that is potentially going to have to pour 13, 14 million a year into their goaltending situation. You have $22.5 million. And you're going to do what? 60% of that? Almost 70% of that, and pour that into one position, into goaltending when you can only have one guy on the ice every night. That's a tough part to me.
And you need scoring.
You need it. You had the goaltending, and you saw how far it got you. Barely getting to Game 6. Barely getting to Game 6 in round 2 of the playoffs. So that's why I think with the value that Linus has, we're a top 6 winger. And like you said, a top line center is what's needed. I need someone dynamic. And it's all, what do the Hurricanes do with Jake Gensel, right? A guy they traded for. Now, I expect them to keep him because they traded bunting prospects and a bunch of high picks for him.
Yeah.
You don't do that for a rental, but you never know. He averaged more than a point per game for them. He was a great addition.
Yes, he was.
There's younger guys like a Lucas Raymond out of the Red Wings, 72 points on the season, unrestricted free agent. But it's tough for me to see Detroit with that young core. And the team was really close to making a push to the postseason, letting someone they hit on like that. And even what about some like bottom 6 guys like a Tyler Bertuzzi who did his part in Toronto for a year, bet on himself, didn't have the best year, but like at what price can he return? You had toughness,
right?
You had grit. You shot a heady hockey player too, someone that fit in with Boston, and fit in with Brad Marchand.
Yep.
And then top line centers, there's the Elias Lindholm, 29 next season, traded to Vancouver, and sounded uncommittal when asked about them, even though they're in the middle of the playoffs right now, right? Non-committal, but 9 points in 12 playoff games. If Lindholm slots in, that's a first-line center right there. Mm-hmm. And then how everything falls from there. Where there's a lot of depth with Zacha, Coyle, Geeky, Patra. Mm-hmm. Then you have a good problem there where you have a lot of depth, and maybe one of those guys moves to a wing spot.
Now, we threw around a lot of numbers for our boy Jeremy Swayman with this deal in this bag that we believe he's going to get. He did actually talk about this himself, saying, quote, "I'm confident that my agent and I and management will figure out the details this summer, and I'm looking forward to it." I would be too, Jeremy Swayman. What kind of – now, you were throwing around the numbers. Now, here's where you and I make a great partnership, because I would be the dude in our partnership saying, what do you want? Here's my checkbook. Just tell me. What do you want? Okay, done. Here you go, buddy. Go ahead. Where you, my friend, are the bean counter. You're saying, wait a minute, Trav. This guy makes this. He's this years old. He's only got this many years on his deal. Let's be reasonable here. What would you give Jeremy Swayman, since you are the voice of reason between us? 25
years old, going to be a restricted free agent, was just an absolute stud for you in the playoffs and showed up and showed he could carry a team. I think if you give him an 8-year deal and you're paying him $8 million a year, that moves him into top 5, top 4 paid.
Yeah.
And that keeps him as a Bruin through his age 33, 34 season, depending exactly where his birthday lies.
All through his prime.
Exactly. And keep in mind, there's a guy like a Brandon Bussey. Can he be called up from Providence and be reliable? He's a restricted free agent as well, but also 25. But can he backfill for Sway when he needs a night off? And can he be a serviceable starting goalie in the NHL, not let you down when his name's called? To me, that's a perfect scenario with those two moving forward. And Jeremy Swayman, $64 million. Perfect for him. Long-term money, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Paying him until he's 33, 34 years old.
Love it. I love it. Sign me up. Sign him up, too. All right, Jake DeBrusk talked about his future with the Bruins. We've been throwing around some numbers for a potential contract for him as well. Take a listen to this.
Yeah, I see a path here. I mean, I think I've said it all year. I have lots of still have hope, and if you told me at the beginning of the year I'd be here without a contract, I probably wouldn't believe you. But at the same time, I mean, I've always loved my time here, and there's a lot of great memories, even from my rookie season to, like I said, now 7th year, I guess, in the playoffs. So lots of good memories and lots of good things that hit you on the emotional side of things, I guess, in the sense of when you're thinking about, I guess, the other side. But sitting here, I haven't talked to management. I'm not exactly sure. Still feels fresh to be lost. And I hope, like I said, it works out. I've pretty much said it all year.
All right, now, how can this team make it work with Jake DeBrusk contractually? What does that look like?
$4 to $5 million a year. I'm thinking of like what Ivan Barbashev is making with the Knights.
Yeah.
And that's a guy, Jake DeBrusk also, post All-Star break, battling through a broken hand.
Right.
That he shared after the season concluded. He said he was finally right heading into the playoffs. And hey, I was your leading scorer this postseason. So that's the tough part. There's that big question mark around it. This is a guy that wants to get paid, but has also spoke about, and he said too, winning is his priority. When I hear that, that's a Boston. That's an Edmonton, where he's from. He's from Alberta. And that's winning situations. In Edmonton, obviously playing with Connor McDavid. Here in Boston, playing with guys you have chemistry with, rapport with, and you're in the top 6 on a fast line with plenty of speed. So that's where I see 4.4. That's what Sam Bennett was making for the Panthers. Now, Bennett, of course, more of a center than a winger, where DeBrusk is a winger. But, like, that is someone that did skate very well this entire postseason.
Yeah.
Showed up for the Bees. Now it's all about, is that the price for him, or do the Bruins come in with a hometown discount, hoping for that?
Sure.
Hey, we'll keep you here. Here's a long-term deal. Because this is a guy that's been through it during his time with the Bruins.
Yeah.
Wanted a trade. They signed him to an extension, hoping that would make him more appealing to other teams out there to trade for him. But he stuck with them, showed up big in the playoffs. So that's what it's polarizing what to do with Jake DeBrusk.
Well, listen, we're going to follow it every step of the way. Call us, 617-790-0928. Hit us up on the Boston Has Entered the Chat hotline. Also, tweet us as well. We'll talk Bruins off-season with you all off-season long, amongst other things, like the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, taking on the Pacers. Were you shocked that the Pacers went into Madison Square Garden with the bright lights?
Oh, you're not done.
The big stage. All those Knicks fans yelling, "We want Boston! Bleep Boston! Boston sucks!" And then, only to have the Pacers come into your building, the Madison Square Garden. Ooh, I'm so scared. And beat your ass. What are you chanting now? Other than that, what were your thoughts on the series?
Yeah, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby.
Oh.
Basically playing on horse tranquilizer. Because Josh Hart didn't have a core. OG Anunoby didn't have a leg. Josh Hart broke his hand. Left the game. Keep in mind, this is already without Mitchell Robinson, who injured his ankle because of Joel Embiid. Congrats, Joel. Tyrese Halliburton made to the Eastern Conference Finals before you. Pascal Siakam made to his second one before he made it to one. Bojan Bogdanovic tore his knee.
Yeah.
Julius Randle was done.
Yeah.
Again, OG on one leg. Josh Hart dealing with core issues. Miles McBride, 40 minutes. Alec Burks, 27 minutes. Precious Achiuwa playing 28 minutes.
Goodness gracious.
But It's also, you let a Pacers team come into your building and shoot 76% from the floor in the first half. That's a Knicks team that ran out of gas. Tom Thibodeau is a good coach, but he's not a great coach because he runs all his guys into the ground. 48 minutes a night is not sustainable.
At several stops as a coach, by the way.
Just running them into the ground and breaking them down. So, the Pacers are just literally, they're healthy.
Yeah.
They can't defend, and the Knicks couldn't defend down the stretch either. That defense fell apart
It did.
because it didn't have the bodies and the skill for it.
Right.
The Pacers do scare me. I said it last time we were on this beautiful
Scare
program.
you?
They are a bigger threat to the Celtics and the Knicks were, and no duh, because of health, right? Now, I would say the Knicks because Jalen Brunson scares me as a guy that could go in and steal 2 games from the Celtics, right?
Yeah.
Drop 40+, take over a game, hit tough late-game shots, create his own shot no matter how good the defense is. But the Pacers, for a team that can't defend, they have the shooting and the ammunition to mess around, hang around, and steal one game and do the same for a second.
Yeah.
Because as we've seen from this Celtics team, now it's not only the Pacers.
Right.
As we've seen from this Celtics team against the Heat and the Cavaliers, they just pick a night where they're like, it's your night, it's not our night, go ahead.
Right.
But this Pacers team has the stupid confidence and the scoring to do it. The Heat and the Cavs could not score. The Pacers can.
The Pacers feel like the Celtics light, just less calories. They want to run up and down, play up tempo, jack threes.
Got big wings.
Big wings. They don't have a big 3. They have a big 2.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're very Celtic-like, except the Celtics can elect when they want to play defense. Not the most consistent defensive team I've ever seen.
Or consistent mentally either.
But they can. They can do it. They're capable. We've seen them shut teams down, and I believe they're going to have to do that here against the Pacers. I think it's going to be timely moments. I said it to start the show. I just feel like if you're a betting person, bet the overs in all of these games. They're going to be high scoring and fun and exciting and big shots and all that. But in the end, winning time, late fourth quarter, got to get a stop or 2. The Celtics will do it. The Pacers are incapable of doing it. What I need in this series to make me even more confident is I must see early on, I'm talking game 1, game 2 stuff, Joe Mazzulla has to step his game up too. We can't just ask these players, hey, all right, Eastern Conference Finals, come on now. No, you have a young coach who's still getting experience. He's green on the job. You got to step up too, bro. I guarantee you Rick Carlisle does. I guarantee you he makes adjustments. I guarantee you he'll pull out the old whiteboard and draw up a play or 2. Joe Mazzulla, listen, man, you got to step up too. This is spotlight's on you in this series. Okay, you go out and these damn Pacers drive this to 7 games, and it's because Carlisle is out coaching you. You don't want those problems. Okay, so Joe Mazzulla needs to step up as well. I'm going to go high-scoring, fun series. Feels like the Pacers are threatening the Celtics a couple times in this series. They have a real home court advantage there in Indy. I'm going to take the Celtics in 6. Porzingis comes back into the series. Last few games, helps close them out.
No, that shouldn't happen at the end. This should be a sweep. But as we saw...
Sweep? You just said they scared you.
This should be a sweep. Should be. With how skilled the Celtics are on both ends of the floor. Obviously, they have the 3, any moment on the floor, the 3, maybe 4 best players. And that's including Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam out there because you have the Jays, Drew Holiday, Derek White. If KP's back, they have the 4 best players on the floor, no doubt. Maybe 5 best. But what they do against the Heat with no Jimmy Butler and no dynamic scoring.
Right.
Messed around, went 5. Against a Cavs team that never had Jared Allen, didn't have Donovan Mitchell last 2 games, lost Karis LeVert, and I get it, it's Karis LeVert, but at that point, when you're that void of scoring, lost Karis LeVert in the last game, that went 5, right? Mm-hmm. All right, well, that went 5. So this should be a sweep just based off the Pacers can't get stops. You have the best scoring offense in the NBA, and you can shoot. But you got one of the best defenses too. But the Celtics to this point have been able to sleepwalk to the Eastern Conference Finals. And the Pacers, what the Heat and Cavs don't have, Just have scores. Have some size to them. They don't have the best players, not the most talent. But with Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton complement each other well.
Yeah.
And Aaron Nemhard, yes, Celtics fans, you remember Aaron Nemhard. Good shooter. Obi Toppin developed a three-point shot.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a matter of Rick Carlisle. Can you go out and steal a game from Joe Mazzulla? And as we've seen, it was with Game 2, and it was with Game 2 in both series. Cavs off shooting night, opponent great shooting night, and that's what decided it. So this should be a sweep, but I'm with you. I say Celtics in 6.
Okay.
Just like it speaks to the frustration that we're going Celtics in 6. We're saying they're making it to the NBA Finals. For the second time in the last 3 years, they will be back in the NBA Finals, but we're like disappointed in Celtics in 6. It should be Celtics in 5 at worst. It should be a sweep, but this team isn't serious enough to make that happen.
I tell you one thing, they could use the boost of if they go out and sweep the Pacers, or they do beat them in 5, and it's in dominant fashion, and that the team that we all, the team that we've all been expecting to show up against top competition here, does, and they do actually show up, and they live up to the billing. Boy, wouldn't that be some momentum going into an NBA Finals against whoever you see. All right, we always tell you to call us 617-790-0928 on the hotline, and we always tell you to send us your tweets, and you respond in kind every single time. Let's get to the tweets here of the Celtics-Pacers series, because I'm not feeling a lot of excitement from a lot of yous out there.
Remember, the Jaguars almost beat the Patriots in that playoff game. Do not forget. That was closer than it should have been.
Brady against Bortles comparison here.
Exactly. This is a team the Celtics are going to take light. What they've done all regular season long.
Could be dangerous.
Play with their food.
Some people are saying this series sounds swaggerless.
Pacers Celtics.
Swaggerless. How about that?
If Indiana had like a solid big 3 or like a really good number 2 next to Tyrese Halliburton compared to Siakam. And Halliburton, great player, good shooter. Loved him with the Kings. Still love him with the Pacers. He disappears late in games. But if they had a dog like Jalen Brunson, where there was that superstar that could take over games and mentally dominate the Jays, this would be a different story. But I agree. It does feel swaggerless. It's Indiana.
Yeah.
It's Indianapolis.
Hey, I tell you what, that Tyrese Halliburton was talking a lot of trash in Madison Square Garden Game 7, though, and he got it done, 26 points. How about this? Celtics-Pacers Eastern Conference Finals. What is this lineup? Is this the Team USA against Iran in basketball?
Why you guys got to do the Habibis like that? But they're right. That's LeBron, Curry, Tatum, Durant, and Embiid on the floor.
Oh, man.
And that's what the Celtics have assembled.
Y'all doing the Pacers
They're on
dirty.
Infinity Stones.
Oh, my God.
But dude, the Celtics are clearly, and they've been through the regular season, the best team in the NBA. This is what it was like for them for 64 wins this year.
Hey, man.
I swear to God, if this series goes longer than 5, even though I said 6, I'll be so upset.
Shout out to the Iranian team, but the Pacers are a little better than that. How about this?
Shukran. Appreciate that. Shukran. Thank you in
No
Arabic.
real human being is watching. Celtics Pacers. D, I'm a human being and I'm watching. George, will you second that?
Yeah, I'm watching. Are you real, though? Are we real?
I'm an alien. Nanu.
We'll be better off talking about this and recapping these games because the Celtics should blow them out.
Nanu, take me to your leader. Pacers, Celtics, Eastern Conference Finals. Smells like ew. So it feels like you guys aren't really feeling this Eastern Conference Finals here.
It is. It's buns.
I guess it stinks.
Especially with the glow that the potential Knicks Celtics has.
Oh, the glow.
New York, Boston.
They would have slaughtered the
Celtics
Knicks.
in the Garden.
They would have slaughtered the Knicks.
Yeah,
dog.
that would actually been a sweep.
They had
those bodies
nothing.
can't keep
They had
up.
nothing left. This is great for the NBA. I get it's swaggerless and all that. I'd much rather see this series than the Knicks, rolling out there in wheelchairs and canes. Thanks.
If the Knicks were fully healthy, that's a team that could take the Celtics 7.
But they're not.
Yeah, I agree. Let me just still cope.
Can you tell them?
It was how they lost in 7.
I know. It was. It was all good just a week ago. Remember after game 2, we want Boston. Yeah, okay.
They got
okay, buddy.
You know what isn't swaggerless?
What?
Foxborough Rush.
Hey.
Our weekly New England Patriots podcast
Talk
hosted by
about
myself and Travis Thomas drops 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Go to wherever you watch your podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Nesson.com, and check out the latest episode. We broke down what the David Andrews extension means for the team, Jacoby Brissett, and his glowing reviews of Drake May. And also, we ran through the first 10 games of the regular season and went game by game, win-loss for the Pats. Yeah, spoiler alert, it's a losing record. But go check out the latest episode of Foxborough Rush, wherever you get your podcasts, and all social media channels. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow as well. X, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check us out as well on all the social media channels as well.
All right, so the college football video game is back in our lives.
My man.
Now, you and I'm gonna bring. I always say everyone out there is our co-host here, right? So I'm going to bring you guys in behind the curtain. George and I, before the show started, we're talking about personal life things, right? So I want to go here with you. College football video game has not been out in so long, George. Since it has been out, have had an entire family. It's a true story. I got married, and I've had not 1, 2 kids since the last time I played this video game. Things are going to be so rough at my house at the Thomas Palisades on July 19th when this college video game comes out. It's going to be so bad because my wife doesn't even know Travis the gamer. She didn't have to deal with him because I was obsessed with college football. And when it left my life, I stopped playing Madden. I stopped all of it. Cold turkey. Had a whole family. I'm back, baby. And I don't care what she says either. If you're watching, I love you and I'm sorry. But I will be playing the college football game on July 19th.
When was the last one to drop? Was it 2013?
I don't know. But I know this. I wasn't married and I didn't have children.
It was 2013.
There you go.
I was going into my sophomore year of college.
Wow.
I didn't even know what life was. I didn't have to pay bills. I didn't have to pay rent. Literally had zero responsibility. I was figuring life out. But you know one thing that stays true, and what I love about this? The trailer, by the way, was phenomenal. Like the graphics, seeing the schools. I love like a random BC appearance early on. Nothing against Boston College, nice shirt.
It wasn't random. If you think for a second.
Wisconsin in there with Paul Bunyan's axe. Ohio State getting stiff-armed.
Hey, Chestnut Hill is about to go up in the virtual world, baby. We about to get it popping. Nothing but natties for BC.
You said it exactly what I can't wait to do.
The dynasty.
I'm going to take over Washington State and that ugly red turf. I'm going to make them number 1 in recruiting in the portal. The portal exists now. Think about it like this. You don't have to only hit the high school ranks, but the transfer portal as well on dynasty mode. And we're going back to back natties. Not only that, I'm upgrading facilities. I'm bringing the best offensive line there. Coaching staff. The road to glory. You know what it does for me? To be 6'6" in any world, let alone my virtual world. To be 6'6" and the quarterback of Wayne Valley High School, go win a state title, which never happens for my alma mater, and end up committing to the Ohio State, winning 4 natties there, and then transferring that to Madden. That's it. July 19th. Don't talk to me. My summer's done.
This man said, not USC, not Texas, not Ohio State, not Michigan, no. Florida State, Florida, LSU, no. Restore the U, nope. He wants to turn around Washington State.
You should see what I did with West Point back in the day, man. I brought glory back to the armed services. I can't wait to do that with the
At least
Washington
all of you
State.
know I will be building Boston College.
Go Cougs.
Pure glory. I can't wait,
It's
man.
Boston College.
What's wrong? Washington State is better than Boston College?
I'd rather
Please.
rather be in the Pacific Northwest,
Nah,
even though
hell
it's more
no.
inland
Give
than
me
Pullman.
Chestnut Hill all day long.
You
For
know
all
what?
of
I'll
our best
go Mississippi State.
For all of our best
We go in
content
the
of the
cut.
day, make sure you follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Hey, until next time, Travis Thomas, George Balekji. Boston has entered the chat. Until we enter it again, we're going to go get ready for this video game, baby. College football is back. Come on. Get on them sticks. Touchdown.
Later.